On our wedding day, my bride insists on wearing an old beat-up watch with the $1 million wedding dress I buy her. I call off the wedding on the spot. She looks at me in shock. You called off the wedding just because of a watch? I take out the divorce agreement and tell her to sign. Yes, because of that watch. Everyone calls me crazy. They cannot believe I would end a 10-year relationship over something so worthless and file for divorce in front of everyone. Dad walks up and slaps me across the face. Get on your knees, you disgrace. My mother-in-law shrieks that I have ruined her daughter's future by returning her like damaged goods. I look at the watch on her wrist, which is stopped at 3:07, and I smile. Then, I phone my assistant. It's time. Release everything. I want a divorce. I opened the page where my signature already waited and pushed it toward her. The crowd erupted. Has he lost his mind? The Burke family heir is divorcing over an old watch? What kind of joke is this? He must be putting on a show to spice up the wedding. Poor Yasmin. She married a crazy man and got humiliated on her own wedding day. Their whispers pierced through her pride like countless sharp needles. Tears welled up at once. Her eyes reddened. Her lips quivered, yet she couldn't say a single word. Her mother, my soon-to-be ex-mother-in-law, Sophia Baker, rushed over and grabbed my collar. Jaden, what kind of man are you? You humiliate her in front of everyone over a watch? That's just a keepsake from her friend who passed away. Are you jealous of a dead person? You don't deserve to be called a man. She hit my chest with her fists. I didn't respond. I only looked at Yasmin. 10 years together. From school uniforms to a wedding dress. I thought we were meant to be. But standing here, seeing how fiercely she clung to that watch, I realized I had never even been part of her beginning. Why? All because of a watch? What do our 10 years mean to you? She finally cried, gripping the papers tightly. I nodded, my voice cold and even. Yes, it's because of a watch. I urged her. Just sign it. Let's not make this uglier than it already is. Those words shattered her. Trembling, she tore the divorce agreement to pieces. No, Jaden, I won't agree. If you want a divorce, you'll have to wait until I die. Her eyes were bright red, like a trapped animal. I watched her lose herself in hysteria, and I couldn't help but smile. I turned away, pulled out my phone, and called my assistant, Sam Glenn. Sam, release everything. I'm ready for the divorce. My voice was calm, edged with icy satisfaction. Dad was the first to storm onto the stage. A lifetime in the military did nothing to contain his fury. He slapped me hard across the face. You ungrateful brat! Get on your knees! You won't say a word today! I'll skin you alive if I have to! Pain exploded across my cheek. My head snapped to the side, and I tasted blood at the corner of my mouth. Mom rushed toward me, tears streaming down her face, grabbing my arm. Jaden, tell me what's going on. You and Yasmin grew up together. We watched your love blossom. How could a watch lead to this? Exactly, Dad shouted, pointing at me. Do you forget who brought you water every day? Who stayed by your side for 3 days when you were sick? It was this woman. And today, you treat her like this? Do you have no conscience? Yasmin sobbed in Mom's arms, nearly collapsing from grief. Jaden, you hate this watch, don't you? I'll take it off now. Please don't reject me. She fumbled with the strap, her hands trembling, as if the simple motion drained all her strength. Stop! It's too late, I said, coldly. Those words hit harder than any slap. Yasmin froze, staring at me in disbelief. Dad's anger boiled over. He kicked the back of my knee, forcing me to kneel before her. Apologize! You beast! Whether you like it or not, this wedding will happen today. I straightened my back and refused to speak. The guests had shifted from shock to outrage. This Jaden is a monster. She's willing to compromise, and he's still so cold and heartless. The Walsh family really drew the short straw by marrying into this family, someone from the crowd said. Scumbag! A top-tier scumbag! A voice from the crowd called out. Realizing brute force wasn't working, Dad tried a different approach. He softened his voice. Jay, I know you're not unreasonable. There must be something behind this. Talk to us. We can fix it. Don't break Yasmin's heart. All eyes were on me, waiting for an explanation. I smiled, looking at Yasmin's tear-streaked face. I spoke slowly and deliberately. I don't want to be with her anymore. I'm tired of it. Isn't that allowed? It was like throwing ice water on a grease fire. The hall erupted. Yasmin collapsed against Mom's shoulder. Her body hung limp and lifeless, the light in her eyes completely gone. Jaden, you can stop loving me, but you cannot humiliate me like this. Do 10 years of our love mean nothing to you? Her voice was barely audible, fragile, trembling. You heartless brat. Mom's expression shifted from pain to complete disappointment. Dad's fists clenched, veins bulging as he held back another strike. I ignored them. Slowly, I pushed myself to my feet and brushed the dust off my knees. In front of everyone, I looked down at Yasmin with cold disdain and delivered my final words. See you in court. The wedding collapsed into chaos. Dad publicly announced that he supported Yasmin and warned that if I didn't turn back, I would be cut off from the Burke family. The next day, headlines exploded across every platform. The Burke heir calls off wedding over a watch, 10 years of love destroyed, and heartless heir from the Burke family breaks devoted woman's heart went viral, topping trending lists. I didn't know who recorded the wedding, but the clip of me looking cold and contemptuous toward Yasmin spread like wildfire. Within hours, it had been turned into countless memes. Overnight, I became the century's worst scumbag. The online community even dug up my company address and home. Every day, people threw eggs and paint at my door. Burke Corporation stock lost billions in a single night. Dad held a press conference to announce he had severed ties with me, making it clear that everything I did was personal and had nothing to do with the Burke family. Relatives and friends who once clung to me for benefits were now blocking my number and cutting all ties, terrified of being associated with me. I had become a complete pariah. Meanwhile, I was lounging in the penthouse suite of a hotel, watching Yasmin's interview on TV. She wore a simple white dress. Her face was pale, and her eyes swollen red. She looked wronged, yet unyielding, a woman full of tenderness and quiet suffering. Please, everyone, stop attacking Jaden, she said to the camera, her voice choking with emotion. I believe he acted in the heat of the moment. Our 10 years together were real. There must be a misunderstanding. He cares about me too much. That's why he reacted so strongly over the watch. I'll wait for him to calm down. We won't divorce. We'll be together forever. Her performance was flawless. She came across as utterly selfless, forgiving, and devoted, which only made my justified reaction look like childish, overblown pettiness. The press cheered her generosity, and the public tributes flowed across social media. I watched her flawless image on the screen and laughed out loud. I dialed dialed her number, and the connection was immediate. As the reporters realized who the caller was, they swung every microphone toward the speaker. Jaden! Yasmin's voice overflowed with hope. You finally called. Have you thought it through? I don't blame you for the wedding. Let's start over. You're overthinking, I interrupted with a light chuckle. Just a reminder, see you at the courthouse tomorrow at 9 a.m. Don't be late, I ended the call, but her sharp gasp echoed clearly before the line went dead. The press conference instantly devolved into chaos. The cries of outrage were deafening. Scumbag! Beast! He's heartless after everything Ms. Walsh has been through! I could hear her crying over the phone, broken and desperate. Jaden, do we really have to go this far? I chuckled, ensuring my voice carried over the din. Of course, we're not just divorcing. I will reclaim every property, stock, and fund I ever gave you. Not a single cent will remain. From now on, we will go our separate ways. The next day, I arrived at the courthouse. Reporters swarmed around me like sharks smelling blood, instantly closing the gap. Mr. Burke, are you really divorcing Ms. Walsh, the woman you've loved for 10 years, over a single watch? There are rumors that you already have a new lover, and that the watch was just an excuse to divorce Ms. Walsh. Is that true? One of the reporters asked. Doesn't it bother your conscience to shame Ms. Walsh in public like this? Another asked. Countless microphones were shoved almost into my face. My expression remained calm. With security clearing a path, I walked straight into the courthouse. Yasmin was already inside. She wore black today. Her face was drained of color, tear marks still faintly visible at the corners of her eyes. When she saw me, she whispered hoarsely, Jaden. I walked past her without a glance and took my seat at the plaintiff's table. The hearing began. I, Jaden Burke, request the termination of my marriage with the defendant, Yasmin Walsh, I stated clearly. The judge asked, what is your reason for seeking a divorce? Before I could answer, Yasmin slammed her hands on the table and cried out, I do not agree to this divorce. Jaden, tell me why. We loved each other so much. Is this really because I didn't take off that watch? That was my best friend's keepsake. If anything had happened to you, I would have honored your memory too. Why can't you understand? Her desperate devotion moved many in the courtroom to tears. I let a faint, cold smile touch my lips while surveying the crowd. My reply was perfectly level. Yes, it is entirely because of that watch. There is no other factor. Yasmin was visibly stunned by my honesty. Truly? Just because of that? What kind of reason is that? It's ridiculous, Sophia shouted from the gallery. Because of a broken watch, you ruined my daughter's life, you scumbag. Dad, sitting on the opposite side, clutched his chest in anger. His lips trembled as he jabbed a finger at me. You ingrate. You've shamed the Burke family. The courtroom erupted. Crazy. Jaden is insane. Destroying a marriage over a watch. Yasmin must be blind to love someone like this. Scumbag. You're a complete disgrace. Several furious spectators hurled eggs and vegetables at me. Yolk dripped down my hair and into my eyes. I was a mess. Frowning, the judge hammered the gavel. Order. Mr. Burke, your reason for divorce is insufficient and does not meet legal standards. Do you have any further evidence? I lowered my gaze and checked my phone. The screen remained dark. It wasn't time yet. I shook my head and said, no. Then, due to insufficient evidence, the court dismisses the plaintiff's petition for divorce, the judge said, raising the gavel to announce the ruling. Wait, just as the gavel was about to fall, my phone screen lit up. The weight I had been carrying for so long lifted in an instant. I raised the phone, displaying the notification to the judge and the courtroom, a cold smile spreading across my face. Your Honor, I have just received my evidence. May I present it now? A moment later, the courtroom's large screen flickered on. The images that appeared made Yasmin's face turn chalk white. She froze in place. The moment the familiar name and image flashed onto the display, full realization washed over her. A piercing scream